your baby is the exact same way. There's going to be some subtle signs in their body language and their behavior that alerts a tuned in mother that they need to go potty and something's about to happen. And this subtle intuition is what allows you to recognize the potty cue and respond. Now you are taking off a dry diaper. You are pottying a baby who needs to go right away. Super easy cleanup. Put the dry diaper back on and keep getting it. There's no diapers to change.
Hello and welcome to Held and Heard. This is a podcast for pregnant and postpartum mamas who want to feel more connected to their babies and more confident in themselves. Here, we talk about elimination communication and infant potty learning as a way of listening, not as something to add to your plate, but as a way to better understand what your baby has been communicating from the very beginning. This is a place where you learn to trust your baby and yourself. I'm your host, Heather Medlin, mother of 3, infant potty learning educator, and founder of Ready from Birth, where I guide postpartum mamas through every stage of early potty learning, from birth to toilet independence. Each week, I'll help you slow down, tune in, and discover just how aware and capable your baby already is, so you can meet them with confidence instead of doubt. Your baby is communicating, and you are capable of listening. Let's get started.
Welcome back to the podcast. I'm happy to be back with you this week. And I actually got a fantastic question on Instagram. Shout out to Mackenzie for this question. It was so good that I just wanted to share it with everyone. And she asked me, why is it that a newborn doesn't just pee right away when they need to go? Especially given that one of the cues that we can notice is that they're upset, they're crying, they're obviously uncomfortable. So why don't they just go right away? And what I love so much about this question is that it actually inherently counteracts this myth that so many people carry that babies just simply aren't capable of holding it, that they have no bladder or bowel control whatsoever. And many people, because this is a myth, it's not actually true. Many people will just say, oh, they don't have control until they're 18 months, 2 years old, 3 years old. Insert number here for a baby who's much, much older than an actual newborn, which we're talking about here. And, a child who can walk and run and talk and potentially even ride a bicycle, they are claiming simply does not have control. I have even had people trained as medical professionals come to me and get all angry at me and tell me that everything I'm telling is a lie because babies clearly do not have control of their sphincters. The sphincter muscles just aren't capable of holding anything in until a baby is well over 2 years old. I'm so sorry to inform you, it is simply not true. And in today's podcast, I'm going to prove it to you in several ways. So bear with me. I hope by the end of this, you can see for yourself why this makes sense. So first and foremost, why do babies hold it? Well, imagine, if you will, there are no diapers. Your baby is being worn on your back in a rack. You're working outside. There is no readily available running water. You do not have a stash of disposable diapers nearby. And if you have dirty cloth, what are you going to do? How are you going to wash it? And this is actually how most of humanity throughout human history and even still today in most parts of the world in traditional cultures, how most mamas handle their babies. They're wearing them most of the time, and they do not have disposable diapers readily available. So what are they going to do? Would it be convenient for a baby to just pee on you whenever, to just poop on you whenever? Or would it be super helpful if they could let you know that that's about to happen so that you can get a heads up and do something about it? This makes sense because if the baby is just peeing on the mama, or they're peeing in their bed, or they're peeing on themselves or pooping on themselves, especially if you have a little girl baby where there's a direct entry into the interior of her body where bacteria and viruses can cause an infection quite readily. This is obviously a survival mechanism. Babies have this ability to alert their mother that something's about to happen so that they can be cared for appropriately, so that the mother can respond, take them out, hold them out so that they can pee or poop away from their body. Super easy cleanup, pop them back in, we're good to go. This works because it keeps the baby safe. It keeps the mother safe, keeps the baby safe. This allows the baby to not get sick, to not get an infection. So first and foremost, it is simply a survival mechanism. And also, I want you to think about how this works fundamentally. Both the bladder and the rectum are closed at the bottom with a circular muscle called a sphincter. Your uterus is the same way. Your cervix also holds your uterus closed. I am not a biology major. I'm actually an architect, but I know enough to be dangerous. And those muscles in a ring are holding your organs above closed. They are forming the seal at the bottom. In order for any of those muscles to release, there has to be pressure and fullness in order for them to release. So they're not just open all the time. They're closed by default, and they have to be full. You have to have a full bladder or a full rectum because things are moving down for them to open when it's time. So what's happening is the baby is aware of that increasingly full feeling that's happening that is letting them know, oh, something's about to happen. And so in the beginning, they will show this sign of increasing fullness that their bladder is about to open, their rectum is about to open, and something's going to come out. Imagine if you're at a water park, and if you've ever been at one of those water park splash pads where there's the giant bucket of water above and it's stilling, and it's like starting to tip, and it's tipping more and more and more and more. And eventually it tips over and all the water pours out. You can see when that's about to happen. You can see that the water is almost completely full in the bucket and it's at the tipping point, and you better get out of the way if you do not want to get rained on. So your baby is the exact same way. As their bladder is filling, as they are starting to need to poop, there's going to be some subtle signs in their body language and their behavior that alerts a tuned-in mother that they need to go potty and something's about to happen. And this subtle intuition is what allows you to recognize the potty cue and respond. And now you are taking off a dry diaper. You are pottying a baby who needs to go right away. They're going right away. Super easy cleanup. Put the dry diaper back on and keep getting it. There's no diapers to change. There's no need for a diaper to change. If you have disposable diapers or cloth diapers at the ready that you can use, awesome. That's an extra layer of security. You've got belt and suspenders. You don't have to worry about an accident. But you're also not relying on the diaper to do the work of you taking them out and responding and holding them over a toilet or over a sink or just in the bushes, wherever you happen to be. And that's the point. That's what diapers take away. That's what diapers tend to mask, is that once diapers became readily available in our culture in modern times, moms were like, oh, great, I don't have to do anything anymore. And what originally was an insurance policy that made things more convenient, so we didn't have to worry about an oops, I missed it, and now I'm all wet. Now it has become, oh, they're wearing a diaper. I don't actually need to respond. There's no response required. I'll just wait until the diaper is full and change it, or I'll change it every 2 hours, or I'll wait until there's an actual smell of poop wafting off of my baby. But by that point, you're too late. You've already missed it. Your baby's uncomfortable. They've already gone through that fullness buildup. Hey, something's about to happen. Why is nobody responding? And then they go, and now you're responding. Do you see the difference? If you are responding before it happens, as they're becoming full, as they have that awareness building in their body that they need to go, something's happening, they're trying to communicate with you because this is an instinct. Remember, it's a survival mechanism. And then you respond, what happens? They learn to connect the dots. They learn that when they feel that feeling in their body, someone's going to come and respond. And then they're going to get a chance to go in the open air. It's going to feel really good. They're going to stay dry. They're going to stay clean. They're going to have that relief of letting go in a place where it's supposed to go, away from them. And now you put that dry diaper back on. They're warm. They're cozy. They're super calm. We talked in my last episode all about why babies who get to potty and have their needs met are so calm. And now every time that happens, and this is going to happen like 8 to 12 times a day with a newborn, every time you do this, you are strengthening that connection of brain body action of I feel this feeling, here's what's going to happen. I feel this feeling, here's what's going to happen. If you do that enough times, your baby will naturally learn to expect it, and they will naturally learn to communicate consciously. So before it's happening subconsciously, now it's happening consciously. Now they can begin to consciously ask you to take them to the potty when they need to go. And if you're starting with a newborn, this will usually start to happen by 8 weeks old. I did this with my 2 youngest babies. I started pottying my daughter, my second baby, at 5 weeks old. She was a NICU baby and we had a little bit of a rough start, but with her, we started at 5 weeks old. By 8 weeks old, she was asking me intentionally. With my third child, my son, I started with him within the first week. So I was pottying him within that first week, and I caught my first real honest to God signal a weekend right before a walk. And the thing is, he was responding intentionally probably by about 4 weeks. He was letting me know. And the signal looks different as your baby grows because the repertoire that they have available to them to communicate changes. And with a newborn baby, really the only thing they can do is show you with their cry and their body language. As they get older, this is going to grow and eventually they become mobile. Eventually they have hand signals available to them. They'll have different sounds available to them. Eventually they can point. So there's all sorts of things that will come into play as they get bigger. But we're talking about a newborn baby. Really all they can do is cry, look at you a certain way so they can communicate with their eyes. They can communicate with their cry, their facial expression, and their body language. And when you learn to see these cues, just like you would learn to see a hunger cue, so the clenched fist, the red face, the mouthing on your body or rooting on you, these are all hunger cues. And when you learn to see that, you're like, oh, my baby's rooting. That means they're hungry. You will learn to see a potty cue the same way. You'll say, oh, my baby's waking up from a nap in the carrier and they're grimacing and they're squirming around and they're arching and they seem so uncomfortable. They need to go potty. And you'll start to see that. And then once you see it, you cannot unsee it. It's just there. It's plain as day, black and white. There's the potty cue. And then you can respond. And the thing is, with a newborn, they're peeing and pooping so much anyway that whether you take the diaper off after the fact or you take the diaper off before, you're still opening up the diaper the same number of times. You're just changing the diaper a whole lot less because you're getting it when it's dry. You're pottying them first, and then you're putting a dry diaper back on.
For the pre-crawling months prior to ditching the diapers, you want a diaper that protects your baby's sensitive skin and provides feedback and a sensation of wetness, especially if you're doing EC. Hero is the perfect combo. It's made of blanket soft, unbleached wood pulp, no gross plastic gel that you find in conventional diapers, and it's free of the toxic bromothol blue, that wetness indicator strip that often turns from yellow to blue. And it has a slower wicking core that both pulls moisture away and lets your baby know that something happened. The best part, Hero developed some earth-friendly sidekicks that come with plastic-eating friendly fungi that literally break down the entire diaper, pulp, plastic, poop, and all, in the landfill in a matter of months, not 400 years like conventional diapers. If you want to try the most sustainable, EC-approved diaper on the market, visit HeroDiapers.com and use the code READYFROMBIRTH for a lifetime discount on your Hero subscription. You are going to love it. But with the method that I teach in Ditch the Diapers, you won't need them for long.
So back to the muscle thing, back to the argument that babies have no control because their sphincters simply don't connect to their brain and there's just no possible way that they can hold it. I want to challenge that, and here's why. If you want to run a marathon, what do? You practice. You're going to start with short runs. If you want to run a marathon, you're going to start small. You're going to start with a 5K. You're going to build up to maybe 5 miles, then maybe 10 miles. You're going to build up and build up and build up. You're not going to do it overnight. If you want to be able to lift heavier weights, what are you going to do? You're going to start with the 3 pounds. Then you're going to go to 5 and then 8 and so on and so on. And muscles grow by using them and challenging them and using them consistently. If we don't use it, we lose it, right? Have you heard that before? And so what happens is that with a newborn baby, again, if you are responding consistently and you're consistently connecting these dots of, I feel this feeling, here's what's supposed to happen, you are giving your baby a chance to use those muscles, to begin to hold it and release intentionally, to begin to make the brain body connections that allow them to release intentionally. One of the most common questions that I get about 4-week-old babies from moms who are practicing EC is, why is my baby crying when I hold them over the potty? I think they need to go. They're showing me the signals, but they're crying. Here's what's so interesting. One of the skills that a newborn baby learns at about 4 weeks old is the ability to intentionally relax a muscle. Have you ever had a baby? You'll see this later with their hand strength. They're holding onto a toy and you hold out your hand and you say, give it to me. Or can you give me the toy? Or can you put the toy down? And they have a hard time releasing the toy. They actually have to learn how to release their hand to drop the toy, to give you the toy. Every muscle in their body is the same way. You have to learn how to relax the muscle, just like you have to learn how to use the muscle. And so around 4 weeks old, they may need to pee and you're holding them over the potty or the sink or where have you. And they can't go because they can't release. They're trying to release, but they haven't quite put it all together yet. And they're starting to become that connection of, oh, I'm going to hold it and wait until mama gets me into position. But now I'm here and now I'm trying to let go. And I just can't. And they will learn and it will kick in around that time. There's actually a brain development leap that happens. But that leap of things happening subconsciously to actually now I'm starting to have conscious control over my muscles. I'm consciously holding it and I'm consciously releasing it. That's what's happening there. And that can happen as early as 4 weeks old. I can remember so many times with my babies where we literally be out and about. They'd be in the carrier. They'd start to signal to me and show me with their body language that they needed to go. And they're getting antsy and they're kicking their legs and they're squirming and they're arching. And I'm talking to them this whole time. I'm saying, oh, it looks like you need to potty. Looks like you need to go. Okay, I hear you. We're going to go as soon as we get home. And I'm letting them know I'm doing the hand sign that I use so they can see that I recognize their signal and I'm on it. We're going home or we're finding a restroom that I can take them if we're in a public place. And I'm letting them know, like, I see you. We're on our way. What are they doing? They're holding it because they recognize that I see them. They recognize that I understand them. And now they can hold it and wait because they have confidence and trust in me that I'm responding. I'm going to take them. I'm going to take their diaper off. And when they have that expectation that somebody's coming, now they can begin to hold it. And what happens when you do this with repetition? Just like practicing for that marathon or lifting heavier weights, those muscles get stronger and stronger and stronger. And so now they are able to hold it. They are able to wait. You're driving down the road in the car and your baby starts to signal. What do? Oftentimes you can't pull over right away. And so again, you're communicating with your baby. You're letting them know that you see them and you're working on it. And they might not make it, but you're going to do the best that you can to get somewhere safe. And they see that you're communicating and they can hold it. And so they're going to be able to hold it for longer and longer amounts of time when you are layering on the communication, the repetition, the consistency, most of all, the connection. They're going to be able to strengthen those muscles and actually wait. I had a reel on Instagram where I'm showing me pottying my 5-week-old baby. And it was, I think, very triggering for a lot of people because I'm showing my baby crying. He's very upset. He's crying in the video. And I am talking to him. I take his diaper off and I hold him over the toilet. And he immediately stops crying because that's what he needed. He was communicating to me with crying that he needed to go potty. I recognized what that meant. He was already 5 weeks old, so he's past that 4-week-old brain leap that's happening. So he knows what he needs to do. We've been doing this together since birth. He knows the drill. I'm communicating that I'm going to take him. So he's like, I really need to go. And I get him in position. I cue him and he releases immediately on cue. Instant relief. Instantly stops crying. And I got more than 2 million views on this particular reel and about 1.9 million of them were hate speech. People were so pissed off that I'm torturing my baby. But the reality of what that video was showing was that when we learn to recognize these signals and we start responding consistently, our baby can learn so quickly what to do. They are born this way. They are made this way. And what's so amazing about all this is that everything that I've just explained, the way that their muscles work, the way that their instinct works, the way that they have this instinct baked in to actually keep them safe and healthy and prevent infection, that it works perfectly with their mother's intuition when the mother is wearing them on her person, the way that we are meant to be with our newborn babies. When we are doing this, we are actually in line with God's design, and our babies are designed this way. I do not believe that this is an accident. I do not believe that we are a cosmic accident. No, I believe that we are intentionally designed this way. And in Psalm 139, King David writes, "Lord, you made all the delicate inner parts of my body and knit me together in my mother's womb. Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous. How well I know it." You can see the marvelous complexity of God's design in your baby, in the way that your baby works, the way that they are born, the way that they have all of these incredible, unique awareness and capabilities that are just part of who they are from birth. And we are made in God's image, and we are naturally these incredibly complex human beings, these incredibly complex creators. And so it makes sense that our bodies as mothers are designed to be in tune with our babies' bodies from day one, not 2 years later when they suddenly become quote unquote ready by Pampers standards. No, our babies are ready to communicate with us from birth. They already are communicating, whether you're showing up to the conversation or not. And if you are interested in doing this with your baby when your baby is born, maybe you're listening to this while you're pregnant right now and you are just eagerly waiting for your baby to come into your arms and be with you. There is no better time to prepare for this than right now. I have a course that breaks down my exact process of how I do this with my babies from birth all the way through walking and ultimately ditching the diapers, toilet independence, and being completely toilet independent and empowered by 18 months old. We actually had our babies out of diapers by 1. My third baby was out of diapers before 8 months old at home. And both of my younger 2 babies that we did this with were pottying independently by 1. And so this is 100% possible for your baby too, when you are actually responding to the real signals. I'm not talking about give your baby exposure to the potty once a day in the morning. No, I'm talking about responding to real, honest to God communication, the same way that you would feed your baby on demand, you would offer naps on demand, you are pottying on demand. It is part and parcel. It is the same thing. This is part of caring for your baby in totality and the way that they are made to be cared for. And I walk you through everything you need to know, every single step, so that it is simple, easy to follow, and totally doable, whether you work, whether you have daycare or diapers, or grandmama taking care of your baby. It does not matter. You can do this too. So that is all in the Born Ready course. You can find information about that and the link to join that down below. Oh, wait, before I go, I almost forgot. I am going to be doing a Q&A episode in a couple of weeks. And so I need your questions to help me put that together. I would love to hear if you have any questions, could be similar to this one or anything else that you've been wondering about elimination communication with your baby. When should you start? How do you do it? What about this? What about that? If you have questions, I want to hear them. So you can either write to me via email at heather@readyfrombirth.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at readyfrombirth.ec. I would love to hear from you. So send me over those questions and maybe I will feature yours on the upcoming Q&A podcast. Thank you so much for listening today, and I hope you have a great week. I'll see you next time.
If you loved today's episode, would you take a moment to help me reach even more mamas with this message? Leave me a review or share this with a friend. You can help even more families discover what's possible. You can find education and support for every stage of your baby's potty learning journey at readyfrombirth.com. And be sure to follow me on Instagram at readyfrombirth.ec. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back every Monday with a brand new episode. See you next time. Bye for now.